Alrighty guys, welcome back to another LEGO Brickheadz set review. And today we have the Anna and Olaf Brickheadz. The box here, is a standard $15 Brickhead box size. Is the first one of those that I have gotten myself. But, it's pretty cool. I've been trying to collect all the Disney ones, so that's why I've gotten this. You do have a picture of Olaf and Anna here. And the one interesting thing about the packaging is it numbers them Olaf 54, Anna 53, so it's in backwards order. Also, they call it Anna and Olaf, so you'd still expect Anna, then Olaf. But you do build Olaf and then Anna, so I guess in that way it makes sense, but I feel like they should have just swapped the numbers around, because there's really no reason to do it otherwise. The one other thing of note is that, unlike with the regular double Brickhead sets, this one does only get a single instruction booklet, and all the parts for both of the characters are in one bag, so you can't just build them separately. But, starting with Olaf, who is the one that gets built first, I think this one's not the best looking of all the Brickheads ever, but I think that this is probably the best that they could come up with for Olaf in Brickhead's form. Because obviously they're still trying to conform to the standards that they've set up, but for the smaller 3x3 Brickheads at least. But, he's not really humanoid to begin with, so it is challenging, and I think that for what it is, I think they pulled it off reasonably well. He does get several new prints, including one 2x2 tile with two pieces of coal, and then a 1x3 plate with one printed right there. And there's also a 1x2 tile with his mouth, which is a little bit emotionless, and I feel like had they brought a little bit more emotion in there, which they don't really do with a ton of the Brickheads, which, for that reason I think it's reasonable that they went with this, but I think had they made it more of a smile, I think it would look a little bit more Olaf. They do use two of those 1x2 rounded plates in order to get, this curve around the side, which I appreciate, as well as using the tooth plates, or the tooth tiles, but, that's kind of obvious. And they do use a 1x1 cone for the carrot, which is okay, and then regular Brickhead's eyes. The arms are those the stud with the bar extension that was first used in Ninjago City. And those are available for the first time, and currently only time, in brown. And they do a very, very interesting thing on the inside of this. Obviously they use some 1x2, and this time they're black with just the two studs sticking out. But they do some really interesting stuff here with the internal design. In here, they have this 1x1 brick with a clip sticking out, and, what you do is you put it in there, and you build all this up around, and then at the very end you come back in and you have this just hole in the top of his head with a clip in there. So they have you build this little assembly with the tile with the bar coming out of it, which this is actually very uncommon in yellow. It's only otherwise appeared in one other set. I forget which one. I think it was like a friend set. And then you just push that in to the clip, and it lies perfectly flush, and you just have a 1x1 plate just upside down on the top of his head, completely flush with everything else. I don't know, that was a very, very interesting technique, and one of the coolest things to me about Brickheadz is that they consistently use these very innovative techniques in order to create small details on characters. I think that that's one of the coolest things about putting them together. But he does, as a result, get the little stems up on his head, which is accurate and looks pretty cool. I think maybe Anna is a better finished product, but the build of Olaf, I think, was far more interesting. The most interesting technique that we get here is the same thing that they do with Elsa, where they have the arms are built with one of those. I believe I can pull it right off, right? Maybe not easily. Maybe we can. There we go. So they use one of these 1x2 or 2x2 plates with the studs on the top, and they use that just to get Anna's pigtails to fall, over her shoulders, which is cool. They also attach to that a little bit of the side of the cape, which is nice. And I think that, that's probably the most interesting technique here. The rest of it is relatively standard, but it's pretty good. You do have, obviously the feet are a little shorter because she's wearing a dress, but you do have this nice print on the front. It's a 1x4 brick in blue with some cool details, and the color lighting up at the very bottom. That is really, really seamless, basically. Up here, the 1x2 brick on her chest is a little bit less so. The color lines up alright. It's not perfect, not a perfect match for the pink. The actual parts are brighter, but it is printed on a black brick, so it's kind of expected. I wish it wasn't expected, but you know, it kind of is. And the 1x4 tile with freckles is good. She just has Brickheadz eyes, and the design of her hair is pretty nice. I like what they do here with the quarter round tiles. You know, creating the little look of the pigtails. Around the back, her hair is pretty smooth, top as well. You know, I feel like this is the least impressive of the 3 frozen Brickheadz, but she does look pretty reasonable, you know, compared to the source material. So, you know, it's not too bad. She does come with a regular Brickheadz plate. Actually, I should mention that Olaf does not. He just has 2 studs to attach to, because, you know, otherwise he would not really be able to attach to the studs that are, you know, 4 studs apart, because he's not 4 studs wide. So, you know, they did have to modify the format just a little bit for his stand. So yeah, I'm glad that I did end up getting this. I don't think it's a standout Brickheadz set. I wouldn't, like, the technique for Olaf's, like, hair is really, really something, but, you know, now that I've showed it to you, you don't really need to purchase the set in order to experience that yourself. You could probably build that with your own parts. And I think that if you like Frozen, you know, the end result here is good, and you know, I think you'd enjoy it, putting it on display. But, you know, as far as going further than that, I don't think that this is one of the must-haves. Like, you have to build this set in order to, you know, have truly experienced Lego. I would say that about some Brickheadz, that some of them, the build is just so good that you have to do it yourself in order to understand. This one's not one of those. This is just, you know, if you like the characters, if you think these look good, buy it. And, you know, there are some decent parts in here as well. But, you know, for $15 for 201 pieces and 2 characters, I think that that's a good deal. It's just, you know, depends on whether you want those 201 pieces. So yeah, overall, good set. I'm not gonna say you have to buy it, but, you know, solid. I'd probably give it like an 8 out of 10. Yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys all next time. Bye, everyone.